Well, in an effort to fill the doll's fruit bowl up just a little bit more, I dug out the polymer clay and showed you how to make some bananas today. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy these are to make. As with any clay food project, if you can get the real thing and have it in front of you, that's always the better choice. So my bananas over the last couple of days have ripened. I bought them a couple of days ago to do this video, and when I was doing my prototype for this, kind of working out some of the kinks, the one I made looked much greener. Now we've got some brown speckles, so I'll show you both ways to color them. But first we need to look at our banana. Look at the shape of it. Now this one is a little more round, and I don't know if that's because it's a little more ripe or if it's just this banana was more round. But we've got a flat side here, and this one is almost round. A couple of the others I had more of almost a pentagon shape with rounded sides. So we're going to have to make sure we make one side flatter. And I noticed that the bananas that were on the bottom of the bunch had the flat side on the bottom, and the ones that had bananas sitting on top of them, or that were sitting on the top, were flat on the top. So we need to keep that in mind if we're going to put them together to make a bunch of bananas. We've got a nice yellow color with some green on it still, some brown speckles, and then we've got the ends that are very dry, and the stem has a very dry end on it. So we're actually going to start out, we're using, by the way, Sculpey Original again. If you use a yellow clay, it will actually end up looking much heavier, much denser, and it won't look as realistic. So we are going to start by making a piece that will be our stem. And we're going to do that by first rolling out a snake. And our snake for this, we're going to pre-bake this so that it can go into the end of our banana, and we can work our banana up around it. And I'm going to make this a little bit more than, somewhere between 1/8 of an inch in diameter and 1/4, and I've got way too much clay here. So I've got this guy. It's broken, but it's really old. You get these in like the office supply store. They're people that do drafting, drawing of buildings. That's 1/8 inch. Made this a little too thin, so let's go to this guy. That's better. He's a little bigger than that, not quite as big as that. And then I've got a craft stick, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to just kind of push down. That will flatten it just a little bit. So I'm going to go bake this at 250 degrees for about 10 minutes. I just want to get this hard so that I can use it and not have to worry about it bending. So I'll be right back. All right, this is now baked, and bakes it nice and hard, and it has cooled up. So now we need to make our bananas. For that, we're going to need a piece of clay, a snake, that is about 5/8 of an inch in diameter. So I like to check that, and this one is just about perfect. I did that really well. And we're going to start out, I'm going to cut this end nice and neat, and I'm going to start out at about 2 3/4 of an inch because I want to pull the ends out and make it about 3 inches long. So now we are going to, on this end, we're just going to pull the end. That's fine. And now this one, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to start pulling this up. I'm going to put this in as close to the middle as I can. We can always trim it off more later. But by pre-baking it, we can make sure that it stays nice. Now, we are going to make the flat on the top. And I'm going to curve my banana. And then I have some scrap clay. These are just scraps of clay from previous projects that I've done. it's a good idea to keep that if you work on a project and you mix some clay or get some clay dirty, just throw it into like a little Ziploc plastic food storage bag. This is a sandwich bag. Sandwich bags are compatible with polymer clay. And then you've got a treasure trove of little different colors of clay that you can use for things like this. So now, this is a dental pick. I bought it at Dollar Tree many, many years ago. And if you don't have this, you can just do the texture on the end of the banana and then use paint. But I like to have the separate clay in there. I think it just looks a little better. And I really enjoy teasing it up and making it look like that. All right. I want to get that kind of smooth. I'm going to get some cornstarch. Because if we put cornstarch on our fingers, then our fingers don't stick to the clay. And we can use them to kind of smooth things. So that's our first banana. So I'm going to do one more on camera, and then I'll do some off camera so that we can have a couple of different ones to paint, so we can look at different color combinations on our bananas. Let's do that one more time. And they're not going to turn out the same. They're not going to be identical because we're making them by hand. Just like any other handcrafted item, and just like bananas in real life. No two bananas on that bunch of bananas were exactly the same. They're each a little different. I do like to measure each time. That's fine. And then cut it off. And my knife's right in front of me. That's why I can't find it. I like to start, even though I'm going to make the end go down, I like to start with a nice fresh cut there on both ends. It makes my life easier to start with a nice clean cut on the clay. And I might as well cut a piece of that too. All right. Get it round again. Tease it up. Get this. I like that size. That one felt like a better size. Put that in there. It's the little details that make it look more or less realistic. There. Well, let's get a flat side first. I think this one I'm going to make the flat side on the bottom. So this will be the all right, now these need to bake at 250. I'm going to put them at 275 because this is going to be our final bake. So 275, they're probably going to need about 30 to 45 minutes. And when they are baked and cooled, I'll come back and we'll move to the next step. All right, these are all baked off and cooled. I did make one additional one so that I can show you a couple of different ways to paint them. So we're going to start out with some ceramic coat in crocus yellow. And this is going to be the paint we use the most of. And I've just got a lid to a plastic container here to work as a palette. And since I don't want this to lay down on the wet paint, I'm going to paint the top. I'm going to paint this side, and then I'm going to turn the camera off, let this dry, and then when this is dry, I'll come back, I'll flip them over, and I'll paint the other side. So right now, I'm just going to do a good coat of this crocus yellow everywhere except on that brown end. So I will go ahead and turn the camera off. I'll get these painted all the way around, and when the paint's dry, I'll come back and we'll go to the next step, which will be some detailing. All right, our paint has been drying actually overnight, and I don't think it's my imagination. I think my banana is more brown than it was yesterday, but I picked up a fresh banana at the grocery store. So we've got a more green banana and a slightly riper banana. So we've got two of them to check the color on. So next on all of these, we are going to add a little bit of green, and this happens to be Lime Sorbet by Ceramicoat. And I want to have this thinned down a lot. So I'm just going to put out a little drop. And then I've got some water here. And I want basically just a wash. And if you look at the banana, now obviously the more green banana has quite a bit of the green. It goes down the back, it comes from the ends. And then there's some brushed throughout the banana. Now this guy, even here, there's just a little bit here, and a little tiny bit there. Whoops, am I under camera? I'm not even sure if I was under camera there. A little bit on the ends. So let's see. This one I think is going to be my more ripe banana. I'm going to put a little bit there. And I missed a few spots with my paint, with my yellow. I thought I got all of it last night. Okay, so that one's going to be a little more ripe. This one, I'm going to make this one a little more. You see I've got mostly water, just a little bit of paint here. And I'm just brushing. I'm starting at the top, at the end. Same here. I'm going to start. And then on this one, do something like that. And then this one, we're going to have him be kind of in between. So we're going to start with a little bit here on the ends. So anyway, one of them will be more in between, more partially ripe. One will be really ripe. One will be quite a ways from ripe. And if you feel like you've gotten too much on, you can use your finger or a paper towel or a wet wipe, whatever. I just kind of wipe the paint down. There. Now that will need to dry. Even though there's a lot of water to it, it still needs to get dry before we go to our next step. So I'm going to let these dry and I'll be right back. All right, now that the green is dried, I'm going to take just a tiny bit. This is Daybreak Yellow from Folk Art. And it is a paler yellow. And I forgot to bring my other brush back. So I'll use this one. And I just want to kind of brush this over some of the green to kind of blend it a little more. And also any spots that I might have gotten, that I might have missed, I can do with this. Like this is a little too harsh, so we'll all right, and that one too a little bit. All right, now I don't remember which one was going to be our more ripe banana, but I've got a couple of browns here. I have, let me wipe this off my fingers first. I have this brown. It is Anita's. It is Woodsy Smoke. I've only got a very few brown paints, I realized today. And it's not a very good brown. And then I have Liquitex Basics in Raw Umber. The only problem with this one is it is very, very, very thick. Toothpick and get that out, which is good for some things. Okay. Now we are going to, let's see what this brown looks like. It's a little, not a great, it'll work. I'm going to take some water. And first we're going to do, let's see, let's pick a banana. Let's do this one. It has the least amount of green on it. And I'm going to kind of put some let's use my finger actually. I have more control. I'm going to put some stripes. We can even use a toothpick. And then on all of them, we're going to take, let's see if I can get this brown to cooperate. This really thick one. I wish I had a darker brown that because ideally we would be using kind of a reddish brown color, but I don't have a reddish brown. And sometimes our fingers are our best tools. I'm going to put these two that are not going to be quite as ripe over here to the side. And then I'm going to juggle very badly again. Let's see, I'm going to move these way away because I'm going to make a mess now. Just splatter some of that on. Let's see, can I make you lean against that? No. Let's see if I can get some of this darker brown to liquefy a little bit. Might have to work on that off camera. But I'm going to continue to put spots of brown on here, and when this paint is all dry, I'll come back and we'll take a look at our bananas. Alright, our paint is dry. I added a little more brown on this one. I love how these turned out. I don't think I could be happier. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure and check the blog post. I'll try to have more photos over there for you to look at, get a closer look of everything, and I'll try to remember to put the measurements I used over there. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. That helps YouTube to know that it's a good video and they should show it to other people. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy my content, be sure and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.